Hey there, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of The Soul Factory. And this time we're going to do Final Fantasy characters, part 1, because I assume that I'll have another part later on. But for now, I want to just work on a request that I had on Twitter for Jecht, and I really love Jecht too, he's so awesome. And then I'm just going to add Squall there too, just so it's not completely just one short video about one character. Although if that is something that you'd rather have, then just let me know in the comments, and then I'll just make shorter videos of one individual character each, that way you can just look it up and it's easier. So without further ado, let's jump into it. Alright, so with Jecht, obviously you're going to use Nightmare as the weapon style. Steel paddle works for the actual sword that he has. Obviously, it's not going to look the same as the one from Final Fantasy X, where it looked kind of like an anchor almost. But, close enough. And for the body, I just decided a regular human male, slightly tall average. Here's the specific number values that I use to get the specific body type. But of course, you're welcome to play around with it and find out what works for you and what you would rather have instead. As long as you're happy with the final creation, then it doesn't matter. Male face 9. To me, it looks semi-young, but also not too young. The facial hair is also included. It doesn't look as rough as some of the other faces look. Wild tail loose for that crazy ass hair that he has. And then just the default eyebrows 11. Chief villain. I really don't remember much about how he sounded, but from the time that I used to play Final Fantasy X, at least in recent memory, it did sound kind of like an old, almost grizzled old man, but not too old. So I did -3 on the vocal speed pitch and -7 on the vocal tone to get this result.
This fight will be a pleasure. And
to me, that sounds close enough, I would say. And with that said, let's go to the equipment now. So of course, you have to have a signature headband, among other things. The Warlock pants work as a really small shorts. Not small, but they're the best looking shorts in the game for like his style, especially with the ripped bottoms and stuff like that. The Warrior's waistband. This right now I would say is part of the signature look right here. This side cloth that they would have. And it's so surprising that you would find an item like this in this game to work so perfectly well with the design from Final Fantasy. It was kind of cool to see something like that. Cataclysm gauntlets. I do have a thing for one-armed like armors. Kind of like it when you have just one different arm that's special from the rest for some reason, like kind of like how Nightmare has his one monster arm and all this other stuff. Just, I don't know why, but it makes it for a cool design. And I would say the Cataclysm gauntlets here, which is on the, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 row on the corner here. That's what you would get for that. And that's really pretty much it. This character is very kind of simple with the clothing designs. And let's go to the colors now. So the skin color, I used 554. Give them that dark look. Well, not too dark, but just like a lower tan, kind of like how it was in Xanarkand in Final Fantasy X. Or at least that's how I remember it. And let's see, hair, of course, just pure black. Don't really need to do much with that. The eyes, I picked 779. It's kind of close to what it looks like in the artwork. I don't know if in the game, in the PS2 game, it's any different, but in the artwork that I was using for reference, it seemed like that was the eye color. So that's what I stuck with. And then from there, the armor for the headband, you want to use 519 for that red look. For the pants, in the reference artwork, it's a dark purple. I don't know if in the PS2 games it goes black or not, but I just decided to go with the artwork, since I would imagine that's more accurate to what. No, not more accurate, but that's more official, I guess. Even though, of course, the game is whatever. I'm just rambling. But the point is, the dark purple seemed like it was a more fitting choice. So for that, we will do 0, 50, and 4. And for the buckles here, I just have it as 1604 to get that nice silverish look. Then the darker purple here, 054 on the inside of the pants, just so it blends in with the outer part. And then the buckles, I just had 244-0 to kind of make it separate, kind of its own thing. I think in the artwork he also has some details that are in the pants that make it look different, so that's why I chose that. Now for the little part here, orange, you'll want 5, 5, and 9 for the side. And the cool thing is you already have this like black symbol here, so it kind of works for that weird black flame looking tribal design that it has on the original artwork in the game. So it's kind of cool that they have that, so it kind of works. And that one of course is just going to be pure black. The rope, I just decided to use 055 just because it looks like a rope, so I figured just put a realistic rope color on it. And then here's the little gold thingy here. I just decided to match the orange, so 559. You can do that whatever you want, but I decided to put that to encompass the yellow, the orange theme for this piece. Then the arm. The arm is just 14, 0, and 4 for that nice steel look. And then black, I believe. Yeah, black was for the straps over here, which doesn't really matter. You're not going to see them much. So you could match the color if you want or put them black. Same with here. You could, make it pure black to kind of give it more flair or something like that, a little bit more difference. But instead, I just matched it with the rest of the arm. And then, of course, the same with the spikes too. And that's all 1404. So let's see what else. And that's it for the colors, it looks like. Here's where the tricky part comes. Well, not too tricky, but, a lot of people that I've seen that make the Jecht design, some of them forget about the tattoo entirely. So here's where you're going to have that come in line. And then we're going to start with Motif 48, which is, let's see, it's in the second column. Let's see how many rows. Okay, so this is pretty much in the bottom. It's Motif 48. Black color. Put it on the upper body, stick with projection, that way it stays on that very bold black. And then here's what you want for the sizes. I wish they had numbers here so I can make it easier for you guys, but what I would say is just at least pause the video and just kind of match them either way. So you have, the size relatively small but not too small. At least it goes across the almost across the entire torso, but you don't want it too high because you want it to make that Y shape that it ends up being in the game and in the artwork. And then of course you're gonna have to angle it also in a way that suits you, and that should be it for that. So then the next one what I used was Motif 43, and you notice how it's like a U shape, so of course the angle, I had to do a 180 on that one, just so it could turn into that Y. Again, upper body, projection, black color, and then you'll get that nice little finish right there with the Y design. And of course, here are the values, so you can pause the video and kind of match them up as close as you can. And then for the last parts, I just did the 2 scars that are right there across the torso, because he does have a few marks on his, on himself, but you can only put. There's only enough room for 2 more, and the rest of it is for the other armor pieces, so you can't really put the marks anymore. So I just stuck with the 1 cut. This is for the first one right here, and this, of course, scar 4 in the 4th column here. You'll check the location upper body, size to the max, angle it a little bit so it goes as one continuous slash, if that's your preference. If you want to use any other scars for whatever reason, it's totally up to you. But I just want to show you what I did, just in case you want the exact one that I have. And then here's the second scar, and then here's the values for that one as well. And it looks pretty good. The end result I'm very happy with. And then of course, you gotta go with the weapon here. So the colors for the weapon is going to be 304 for that nice gritty gray. Then you have the black color here for the pommel, which you could do whatever you want with it really. I just chose black. You could probably change it to whatever you want to maybe fit the blade if you want to. The wrap, I used 12, 7, and 1 for that, because I do remember his original sword does have a wrap. It's sort of similar color, but not really. And then the balls, which is just the orange, 5, 5, and 9. Obviously, if I could, I would have the design on it, the little tribal-ish kind of design that it had, and make that orange, but unfortunately you can't do that. You can't customize weapons, so that's what I used in place of that. And then the weapon swing, I made the orange as well, 559, just for kicks. And with that, you have Jecht, and he's all ready to go for battle. And now, with that said, we're going to jump into Squall now. Let's see what we got here. Now this one's a little bit more of a complicated design, but not really that complicated. Actually, not really. Now that I think about it, it's more easier. I think what was more complicated for me was making the thumbnail on the right. But anyway, so the style I chose is Raphael with the Queen's Guard. And the reason I used the Queen's Guard is because it looks like the ultimate weapon that Squall gets in Final Fantasy VIII, called the Lionheart, I believe it's called. Lionheart, Leonheart, you already know. And it was the cool gunblade, and it has a similar design to this with blue and such. So now we go to the body. Human male, slightly tall and thin. I think that's the defaults. Actually, well, thin, you would want to make them thin. And then here's the values that I used for the body. Usually, if you really want to, you can just put them all down to the maximum -20s. Just because usually Final Fantasy characters are supposed to be thin. But I just decided to give them a little bit more meat. Just to be a little bit, to make it more, I don't know. Make it look better, I guess, in the context of Soul Calibur's universe and series. The face I put 20. Young face, not too bad. Long side part is what I used for the hair. Doesn't look too bad. There's other similar hairstyles, so you can pick whatever suits you. I used Veteran Knight for the voice, -2 for the pitch, -1 for the sub, and -1 for the vocal tone to get this result.
I can see the fear in your eyes.
Which kind of sounds a little bit robotic if you really pay attention to it, so maybe don't do the -1 on the sub, and it'll eliminate that if you really want to. I'm just too lazy. And obviously you're not going to get the exact voice, but at least to me that was close enough. So now let's go to equipment. In equipment you'll use the Aval Battlesuit, which is going to be on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows. So a 5th row right here in the corner. That's what you'll pick for that, so you can get the gauntlets. There's other choices of there's different Aval Battlesuit renditions. Like you have the combat garb here that doesn't have the gauntlets, and then you have one here that just has one arm. But for me, I just decided to have 2, just for me. You can always pick something else to do the design. Doesn't necessarily have to be like this one, but just in case you want the exact one I have, that's what I have. Purge leggings, which seem to suit well for the pants style that he has in the game as well. Warrior's waistband again. Now this one was very interesting too, because I forgot that Squall does have that little like kind of flap on the pants in the artwork. At least for I think Dissidia Final Fantasy. I don't know if it's in the original game. I don't think so. But in Dissidia Final Fantasy, I believe they do add the flap. So I just decided to do that for fun because I'm like, hey, look, it actually works. And then I gave him a silver necklace. It was supposed to be, it's not there visible, but of course, like I said in the previous video, armor does break. So, you know, it's just something to show there, just for whatever reason. And short socks, again, same reason as the last video. If the sea boots here break, then you would at least show the socks. And then, of course, Raging Sea Boots is what I used for the boots in the 3rd row in the 4th slot right there. And that should be it for that. Let's go to the colors. The skin color is just default. The hair color here is going to be 0, 5, and 4. And for the eye color, I decided to go with 9, 38, and 4 for a semi-blue. I believe his color eyes are blue based on the Dissidia artwork that I saw. And that's it for the body. For the armor, I started with everything just going black, just because it made things go faster. And then from there, from the suit, of course, the first part's gonna be black, and then the rest of it, I just put white. So 3104 for the white, especially the you know, the feathery or furry side here, which matches, you know, the jacket in the original game. So the pants, same thing, all black. The gray, I do not know where the gray comes from, so I just kind of put that there just in case to see what it was. And then black for everything else. The whole flap thing, same thing, black for everything. The rope I kept as white because it looks weird to me if I just have black rope with the rest of it, just to make it at least somewhat visible. Well, not invisible, because it wouldn't make sense. You can't really make it invisible if you put it black. Whatever, I'm rambling. And then for the neck piece, just default color. And that's just whatever. The socks black too, just in case, to match it up. That way if the boots do get destroyed, at the least you have the black socks that can kind of still mimic the boots. Not really, but at least it won't be like some weird like barefoot situation if you don't want that. And of course the boots just all black. And then we move on to the piece de resistance, which is the scar on his forehead. Or, you know, just across his face, like in the opening cinematic, and of course throughout the entirety of Final Fantasy history. Which here's the values. I use scar 4 in the 4th section. The color is default, doesn't really matter. The section is the head, leave it as projection. And here's the values so that you can copy it yourself for the size and angle and the verticality movement. So we'll back out of that. Nothing else added, as we can see. And then the weapon I really left alone, actually. I didn't touch any of this. It looks perfectly fine the way it is. No reason to mess around with it. If it's not broke, don't fix it. And that is it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I'm glad that you guys enjoyed the first video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this one as well. And you'll show me that with a like. Hopefully you'll subscribe for more of this or my other show, Under Radar, where I cover underrated games or hidden gems. Also, don't forget to check the link in the description below for the Steam Curator group that I'm making, that I have called Soul Factory, where it's all about the games, the character creators in them. It's just, it doesn't have any in-depth reviews. It's just really just, oh hey, this game has character creator, just in case you're interested in that, okay? So, thank you very much for watching, guys. I hope I'll see you in the next video. If you guys see any characters that you want me to cover, then I will do my best to do that. If you want to leave a comment on Twitter at The Shadow Hatter, or if you just want to leave a comment down in the YouTube space, then I'll go ahead and read that. So anyways, guys, have a great day or night whenever you're watching this, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care. Bye.
In a cursed castle hall, warriors dance in a masquerade of death. This fight will be a pleasure.
So, you desire to fight?
Battle 1. Fight! Not like tremble! Battle 2. Fight! Scum! You dare! You dare! Not like wrong move! Not over! I'm on! On your You should have begged for forgiveness.